But let's bring out that guest.
I thought, okay, let's bring out our guest and get deeper and either more or less podcast worthy. I don't know. He's our new friend. He's soaring up the charts. He's currently resided in Portland, but if ICE has it their way, he won't be in Portland for much longer. Please welcome Mohanad Elshieky.
I thought you meant 21 Savage.
Hello.
What's up, Mohanad?
Yeah, Free 21. Hey,
Free
what's
21.
up?
Thank you for coming.
Is your mic working?
There you
are.
it is working. Yeah, we're good.
All right, you're from Libya,
Yeah.
Benghazi.
Yeah.
Which until I researched you this morning,
Yeah.
I thought Benghazi was like a made-up word we used to hate Hillary Clinton.
I wish it was.
It's actually a city in
It
Libya.
is. It is a city in Libya. It's where I lived. It sometimes feel made up. Yeah.
I want to start there because I like you're like the immigration equivalent of like I'm starstruck because I don't think I've ever known someone that had asylum.
Yeah.
Like for all the talk we do about asylum.
Yeah.
And I want to talk so much about that, but
Oh,
like,
absolutely,
so
yeah.
like tracing it from. But first, I just want to picture because here you're growing up in part of a gigantic blind spot for me. What childhood in Libya? You can be comedic, tragic, sad, whatever.
Oh, I mean, honestly, this is like a funny question you're asking because like a lot of people like when they imagine my childhood in Libya, they always go to like a war zone.
I
some
totally.
kind of like, absolutely.
I'm
yeah.
afraid to tell you what I would picture, but you can imagine it.
Oh no, I'll tell you the picture. The picture is like me being a child soldier, you know. Just being like, I'm gonna defend my mom, you know.
But it's like those backgrounds where the road is the same color as the building.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't tell. Yeah. No, I mean, my childhood was like very chill. Like
But what did the neighborhood look like? If it didn't look like that, like what my fucking first world like xenophobic images, what does it look like? The Munsters neighborhood? Does it look like the Cleavers? I don't know what reference to draw. Like,
I honestly I look around LA and there's like some houses that we had that looked like the same. I mean, the structure was like more like it was kind of different because like the houses were. We don't have like houses like built. I don't know how to describe it. Like the material here that people use, it's more like cement. They're like kind of like very like. This is how I would describe it. Like, you know, like when I was growing up, like when I see like someone gets angry on TV, they punch a wall and they get through it. In Libya, you can't do that. Yeah, you punch a wall, that's it. You're dead. Yeah.
So it's like that cement block kind of.
Exactly. Yeah. So
there
that's
were a lot of fist holes
Yeah, and
in my
that's-
house growing up, and then there would be these dents where you found a stud.
yeah. And that's why people like assume they were super angry because like you can't even punch a wall there. Like so, where you start a war, that's what you do.
When did you leave Libya?
I left Libya in 2014, so I was 23 when I left.
Okay. And
Yeah.
And you came straight to LA or where?
No, Portland.
Portland,
Yeah,
sorry, yeah.
Portland. Yeah. So initially I came like on an exchange program. It was supposed to be for 6 weeks.
This is what
Yeah.
this is like nightmare fuel for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my I statements. I'm not going to say for white people. This is nightmare fuel for me.
Yeah.
You were a special kid, smart, bright.
Yeah.
You're like
I like
I'm
to think so.
assuming I'm
Yeah.
like identifying with you. Like you're 14. You're in Benghazi. You're like people are probably coming up to you and going like, "Hey, you're funny." Like talk and you become you become an exchange student. While you're here being America, are you getting texts or emails? This is the story leading to your quest for asylum.
Oh yeah, Facebook messages from my family and stuff. Yeah.
Saying,
Yeah. So I mean, like when I moved here, I was 23. And the program was like 6 weeks. That's the whole program. It was in Portland State University. And after the program was done, I was supposed to go back to Libya. That was the whole plan. Like I didn't even pack enough for like staying a year or so. And then I was like getting like messages from my family and stuff. We're like, hey, to give you some background, like back home when the war started, like the revolution, the Arab Spring, they started in 2011. Like the country was just like the Libyans took down the government. There was like no government anymore, and it was like kind of like everything was like very mixed up and I used to work as an interpreter. This is what I did, and I used to take like mostly like journalists and stuff. I used to take them to the front lines.
This is when you were a kid.
I was 20 or so,
and you had such a facility
Yeah.
already. Like I don't want to derail us from
Yeah.
this Asylum story, but
Yeah.
also that's a different fascinating story. Like your biopic, I don't understand any polyglot. Like I don't understand how anybody
Yeah.
speaks multiple languages, but to be 20,
Yeah.
and how do you? Let's just go ahead and derail and talk about that job. How does that happen?
Yeah, I mean, this was never a job like I was like, oh, this is what I want to do, because the war started out of nowhere, just like started like out of the sudden.
It probably doesn't pay well, and it sounds like something that may
I
cause
didn't
trouble.
get paid a single dollar for it.
But you scammed.
And someone came to you.
You did,
all
right?
like-
you
like-
skim a little bit.
Was that?
You skimmed. Skim is like a finder's fee.
You know, like people, you interpret for somebody, and then they tip you, and then you're like, I'm supposed to share this with the other interpreters, but
I was dumb enough to be like, I'm doing this for my country, you know? And now I'm like, I should have gotten money for this shit.
But can you like take me to the moment when who is the harbinger of this gig? You
Yeah.
are like the moment where you go from regular guy with no troubles to being an interpreter.
Yeah, so I used to work in a school that thought English as a second language. So they approached that school.
Second?
Yeah.
Fuck the world. I'm sorry. I don't know. Dumb.
Second to Arabic. Arabic is better. Just say
Fine.
It looks more beautiful.
When in Rome, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, when in Libya.
Ron Funch has called me out on this habit I have of like I cast too wide a net. Well, I ask somebody a meaningful question and then I fucking derail it. Go
See,
ahead.
the questions are great. I love them. They're super good.
It's the interjections. It's my constant
You're
fucking
doing
tick
great.
of like it's about me. Ah!
You give me more time to think, and I appreciate that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, so rewind and pretend.
So they approached that school like, hey, like, do you have people for us like that, like, would be interested in doing that? And my manager approached me. And I was like, would you like to do that? Like, yeah, hell yeah. I have
What
a
does
car.
manager mean though? Because you're a kid.
Well, I'm like the person who owned that school that used to work there.
That doesn't. Your school had a manager?
No. It wasn't my school. When I was 20, I was teaching English.
Oh,
Yeah, I was an employee at that place.
So you speak Arabic. You learned English fluently at what age?
Like 7.
And what else? You speak like French or
2 English and Arabic. Yeah.
so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
became a teacher teaching English as a second language,
Yeah.
and so your boss, like the vice principal of the school,
Yeah, it was like
I demoted him.
Yeah, I was like, hey, would you like to do that? And they were like, and I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I have a
Who
car.
who are these guys that are out front? Like
Oh.
your boss is coming with the clip-on tie. I'm picturing. He's like,
Yeah.
hey, Mohanad, you got a real handle on that English, huh? Keep
Yeah.
teaching it.
Are they asking you to work for like the embassy or for like
That was before the embassy. That was just like, hey, we have these like journalists who are coming here to cover the revolution, and they were like everyone, like it was like from CNN, CNBC, like whatever it was, and they were like, we need someone to take them to like do like some interpretation, like the front lines.
So it
and
sounds
stuff.
actually not even. It sounds like you said,
Yeah.
do this for my country.
Exactly.
There are
yeah.
journalists coming.
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I would love to help, because like at the time there was like a week when the revolution started, like where there was like no news coverage happening at all, and no one outside of Libya knew what
How
happened.
can more awareness be a bad thing?
Exactly. So when these people came, we're like, oh, I'm excited. I want everyone outside to know what's happening, and I want them to like capture that like correctly, because like they were like we're going around the city asking people, and people like were not speaking English that well, so they take whatever they assume that they say and
You
just
must
put
have
that
felt
on
like
the news.
Indiana Jones, like you're finishing writing hot dog on the blackboard.
Exactly,
There's
yeah.
a girl blinking, I love you. It's written, I love you is on her eyelids. And then your boss goes like, some government guys, some CNN guys want to
Yeah.
take you and like, and you're like, God damn it, this is such a romantic, adventurous job.
Exactly. Yeah, I was like so excited at the time. I'm like, oh, I'll take them to the front lines. That sounds exciting. And I did that when like we driven for a while, and we got in there, and there was like an area where they're like, you can't go across this line because this is where like the actual like fighting is happening, and journalists are like, let's go across the line. And I'm
Right.
like, yeah, let's do that.
Right.
Yeah, so I take them, and I mean, there were some moments where it was just like, sometimes it's just like, oh, it's easy job. Like they're asking soldiers, and they're like, And then there's like other times where like everyone starts running and you have no idea what you're running away from. And you just keep going until like you just like hide behind like a car or something. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Yeah.
At that time, were you like, there's good guys and there's bad guys, and I'm just like,
yeah. At the time, there were like good guys and bad guys. We knew who the bad guy was. But then a year after that, it was just like bad guys everywhere. And I'm like, maybe I'm a bad guy now. You never know what was happening. It was
So who's in charge at this point? Is it Magariev or what's his name? How do you say that name? Like who's the
the former president?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was Gaddafi.
Oh, so this is during Gaddafi.
Yeah, during Gaddafi, it was like the revolution against him, and then he died like 10 months after. So it was just like
So
Yeah.
how are you seen by the locals? Are you seen as a conspirator, like with the West, or?
That started to happen after like few years in, because I was still doing that job, and then that school I was working on, there was programs that were sponsored by the U.S. Embassy in Benghazi, and we had the ambassador like Christopher Stevens, who used to come there all the time. So like we were seen as people who worked with the embassy, and like I'm like a person who did that too. So gotta kind of like put the spotlight on me. Also, I used to like.
Is it because of the bad guy? Forgive my ignorance. Don't know anything about that conflict or what the result was. Is the situation that then after you went to be a foreign exchange student, that the bad guys, that the guys you perceived as bad, let's call it, like that
it became worse after I came here.
Did they take power?
They did take power, yes.
And so you're over here learning about quantum physics or whatever, Noam Chomsky.
Yeah, I was learning about conflict resolution. Yeah.
And you're okay. So now that takes us to this moment where you're getting Facebook messages from loved ones, which I can't put myself in this situation.
I was getting text messages from my mom and stuff, and she's like, "Hey, like, someone came by the house today and they were asking for you, and they like came through your room and like took some of your stuff and whatever." And I was like, they took my stuff. Like, I was like, what did they take?
By the way, I should interject here for a second, because it's like I take this for granted. This guy is incredibly funny. He's a great comedian who is and that's even if you were a fireman, this would be an interesting story.
Yeah.
But like, what's crazy about this is that you still, at this stage of this story, you haven't yet thought about a career in comedy.
No.
And that like, as of a couple years ago, you're like legitimately like, Portland's like, people are excited about you, and you're like because you're that good at stand up.
Yeah,
but like
I'm
you
really
weren't. You won't say it, but that's what's like double ironic about it, is we have so much to talk about comedy theory and stuff. But first we have to get through this thing of I haven't met somebody who's been in this situation.
No, absolutely. I mean, that definitely makes sense. Yeah.
So they went through your house. They went through your room.
Yeah.
And what were they like looking for your computer or?
Well, my computer was with me at the time, but like they were looking through they were trying to find stuff that would like tie me to the embassy, because that happened after the embassy attack and all of that. And also, the thing is, like, as a Libyan citizen, when you want to come to the U.S. at the time, it was like a very, very long process. Because I was accepted in that program, I got my visa in like 2 days or so. It was like very like a quick thing, because they've already done background check and all of that. So they were like, okay, so this guy who we thought worked with the U.S. before went so easily to the U.S., there's no way he's not working for the U.S.
That's
government.
ironic.
So they thought you were like special services or like?
Yep, that's exactly what they thought.
That is incredibly ironic.
Yeah.
They thought you were intelligence, like Secret Service stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, such a compliment, but also at the time,
This guy's James Bond.
I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
Okay, so you're getting these. I want to interject here though emotionally and go like, because I feel this anxiety even as a person who doesn't even like. I don't know what your emotional connection is to your family, but you're getting messages from back home that is saying like they're tossing your room.
Yeah.
Literally tossing your room, your bedroom. They're looking for reasons to justify making you an enemy of the state, while you're sitting over here on a temporary lily pad that is our government's like job to like either renew like a library book or whatever. Now, but what about your family? Like, are they in danger at that point?
At that point, yeah.
If they're tossing your room, then they're shaking your grandma, right?
No, absolutely. They eventually had to leave the city. Like they left the house, they left the city, they moved to another city because they were like, we can't deal with the shit anymore.
So there's like a city that's more.
Yeah, they wanted the capital, which is Tripoli. They moved there
because you're an intelligent interpreter.
Because he has
connections in America.
Exactly. Yeah, they were like, we have more family in that city.
Is that because of the change of power in Libya, like after Gaddafi died? Or?
Yes. Yeah, because there were like a lot of like religious extremism, like.
It becomes sort of a free-for-all, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because there was so many. There was like the Libyan military, and then you have like groups that like were like affiliated with ISIS.
You had Wolf Blitzer stink on you.
Exactly.
Wolf Blitzer touched you as a baby bird.
Exactly. And then after the embassy attack happened and everything, it became even worse there because like these people like, oh, because like the embassy attack was like a statement as if like we're in power. This is like we can do whatever the fuck we want. So these people were like more and more like in power. And then after like I came here and like getting all of these messages and stuff, did I feel terrified? Did I feel bad? Not really, because I've had like worse stuff happen when I was there. So it was like a mental state where I was like in like no matter what happens, I'm like okay, yeah, I guess there's something that we have to deal with.
What's the worst stuff?
The worst stuff is just like I've been shot at in my car twice before. The radio station I used to work for, because I used to host a radio show, like was burned down to the ground because they were like not into what we were saying or stuff.
Why would you be shot at in your car?
What's that?
Were you being targeted?
Yeah, I was getting a lot of death threats even when I was being Ghazi.
How did people know you? They had seen you walking around with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like people get like.
And you were a voice of opposition, or were you even at all? Like,
it wasn't an opposition. It was more of like, okay, so we have no government now. What's going to be like the face of the new country? And most of the opinions that me and my co-host had were too Western, as they described them. And when I say Western, they were just like. We want to like separate religion from government. Like we want this and we want that.
We should try that here.
I keep having this like crazy this high pitched tone in my ear where I'm like your family's safe now, in quotes,
yeah,
like just because,
now, yeah.
just so we can continue to talk about this story.
No, they're safe.
Which is focused on you. It's like I just keep thinking of this family. They're like Facebooking you and going like, yeah, they touched your room. And like, okay, so they relocated and they're safe because the story of you then, because I'm a narcissist, so all I do is put myself in your shoes and think about what if it was me, and then I just want to puke until I die, like going like, what? Everyone hate like they're trying. So you apply for asylum, in the United States, and as policy is, they go, okay, we'll look into that. And how describe that process?
Yeah. So when you apply for an asylum, it's a very, very lengthy process. It's you have to like once you apply, it's first it's very expensive to do so.
Really?
If you wanna, because like if you even like mark like one like wrong box or something like that, that can affect the whole process. So they like you have to hire a lawyer. So like that's like $3,000 or something just to hire a lawyer, just to fill your papers and stuff. And like you're like a person who's like new to this place. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna like toss like $3,000 to them. And then every time they're like asking for more papers and everything costs money and you have to pay fees and stuff. So you keep going.
So there is likely, I'm totally ignorant of this. Is there a channel of like, is Asylum a legitimate channel for people of means because they can just afford it the way like maybe Harrison Ford doesn't have to stand in line at the DMV with me, like that you can, is there, or are rich people just, they don't need asylum. They just,
there's no way to kind of like cut into, cause rich people like always like they start a business and get a green card. This is how they do it. But like I wasn't like a person who couldn't afford it, but I was like kind of like in the middle. So
asylum
I can afford
a
lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like afforded to do it the right way and not make mistakes, and that's it.
All right. So you're I mean, when you talk about these steps where you're going through, where I'm like, oh my God, my heart is skipping beats.
Yeah.
Every time you go through one of these cycles, there's countless thousands of people who had to give up at that point because they had to find a lawyer.
Absolutely. People have like one reason people give up, and that makes sense to me, is that the first 8 months after you apply for an asylum, you're not allowed to work. You can't have a legal job. So you just have to find ways to make money.
That's such a funny thing to me.
Yeah.
Like funny in air quotes. I like the
Yeah.
idea of like, oh, wait, what, someone's going to kill you? I don't believe you.
Exactly.
I think you're here to sell peanuts.
Exactly.
If I catch you selling a single peanut instead of fearing for your life.
So you have to have connections and someone like you have to have some lifeline to take care of you.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
absolutely.
it's like being a PA in Hollywood. It's like a simultaneous oppression and privilege where it's like you can't even qualify to be mistreated unless your parents are
So
rich.
who is taking
Exactly.
care of you? Your family from back home or?
Oh, it was like I had to like transfer all of the money I had back home to the US and like kind of like start spending that money, and then I had to get like under the table jobs and stuff, like work for a food cart or like do this and that.
So to prove to our government that you're not here to like fuck around, like you're actually here and you can survive without a job.
I see,
But you're not allowed to work.
yeah,
Or
Well,
you're proving that you're here to steal a job.
This is the reason I believe they're doing that. It's mostly to be like, if you're serious about being here, you'll find ways, because this is the American dream, is to struggle
Fuck
or
that.
whatever.
That's fucking terrible.
Because you know how everyone is born here have to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just lied about our cotton expertise and we got free rides.
You paid
God
no
damn it.
rent. You paid no rent.
You had jobs.
Yeah, you had
got
fucking
free
job,
meals.
yeah.
You should try it. You know anything about tobacco? 110-degree weather. Happy February.
Happy February. I'm so excited. I'm doing Black History for my workout. I'm learning about so many Black History things.
And after 300 years, you got your visa.
That's right. That's
There
right.
you go.
Oh my God! And then
took
in
me 40
1920,
years.
women got theirs. Isn't that great? But I don't want to get too political or anything. But it almost sounds like what you're describing doesn't define the word asylum.
No.
It sounds
Yeah,
like the
it
idea,
doesn't.
the original idea behind that word is
It
like,
doesn't,
if
no.
I could, it's almost like a believe the victim thing.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll book somebody that like works in some office. It's not going to be an ICE agent. It's not going to be, maybe there's someone on the other side of the issue that can tell me, oh God, if we open those floodgates, but I just have this weird sneaking suspicion that there is absolutely not a zero-sum game going on here where if everyone who came to your borders and said, I'm going to die, I'm scared I'm going to die, or I'm
Yeah.
already in your country and I'm scared to go back home, if we said to all of those people, okay, well, all right, here you go, rubber stamp, that what would happen would be the destruction of America. I just choose to not believe that, but...
See, the thing is like if they put more means and like more money into the process of making that a fast process, that will help. Like, because like they do a lot of like background check and stuff. But in my case, for example, like, so you're worried about me maybe being not like a good person. I'm gonna do this in this country and blah blah blah. You make
Like,
me,
I'd hate for you to just shack up in a trailer and make like
yeah.
8 kids and eat 7 of them.
so.
Although, as a listener of true crime, I'd have to say,
Absolutely,
you're as
yeah.
welcome to do that as anybody.
True equality.
like
yeah.
statistics bear out.
But it's just so crazy to me because they're like, okay, so you're gonna apply for an asylum, 8 months, no job, so maybe you can do it illegally. We don't know. Do your thing, and then you get a work permit, and then wait for 4 years to have an interview, so we can decide based on the story that you tell us if you're being honest or not. Now, in those 4 years I'm here, I could have plotted so many things against the U.S.
Yeah.
If you think I'm a dangerous person.
How many did you?
I started a career in stand-up comedy, so that's one thing.
That is a bit of a plot against the U.S. I mean, you
Yeah.
are bumping a lot of Jay Moores out there. Like that, you're going to destabilize the comedic industry.
Yeah, exactly.
Did people actually look? That's the question. Is in that 4 years, are Americans actually looking in your home country to see if anything's ever gone down? Do they really spend that time well?
After I did my interview with the immigration officer, I realized they know nothing. And they were like, you tell us everything from the beginning. It was 3 hours and a half of just interview questions and then being like, so Libya, okay, tell us more about that. I'm like, what have you been doing for the past 4
Well,
years?
that's a little bit of relief to me as an interviewer.
I'm like, Libya, you bombed that place. Like, what?
Sorry. Nope.
So
Bombing
Mohanad,
doesn't mean knowing about. Nope.
So
I'm a child of the 80s.
if you're
My parents paid for the bombing. I bet they can't point to it on a map.
now you had a run-in recently in Spokane, Washington. Are you sick of talking about this or
No, we can talk about it.
Well, I do want to segue, but
Yeah.
it's a natural segue. But it's like that's the thing is that it's almost a shame. It's like all this like stuff, this struggle and stuff. But it's also like if it were a strictly comedy podcast and we were like, hey, who's this new uprising comedy star? It's
Yeah.
like, you're very funny. And it's incredibly interesting, the idea that you were this funny given how recently, according to my hour of research of you on Wikipedia, like, and I said to you in the green room, is that an exaggeration, or did it was like 4 years ago somebody said to you in the height of this like pressure where you're like, I was here on Asylum, I was an interpreter, and now I'm like here studying this and that. And then it's like, oh shit, ticking clock, I may have to go back, I don't know when. And someone said to you, you should try comedy.
Yeah. It was in college because I was taking a public speaking class at the time, and then at the end of the term, my public speaking professor was like, have you tried comedy? And I was like, nah, I haven't. I was like, yeah, I know some open mics can show you where to go. And so I was like, yeah, well, let's do this. And then I did. I was like, oh, this is a good profession. Yeah, I can yell at people on a mic. That sounds cool.
This is the point where if we could play a clip, if we were a TV show in the 90s or something, we'd play a clip of you, like so that people could rest assured, like you're very graceful and funny on stage. You do these things that honestly, like I was telling you in the green room, like I watched your one set and I was like, I wanted to dig in with you about the minutia of what you're doing on stage, because I tried to do stand-up from 17 to God knows when I really hung it up. But like, it is an art that and here you are, English as a second language, and you're on stage and there's really specific things that you do, like where you let the audience not do anything. Yeah. You're doing a stand-up set in Portland and you have this bit that's like, where it's just like, it's very resonant because you're like, the tee up is just you talking about like gun rights, and that the setup is that I tweeted like, oh, I don't think that gun rights, this and that. I can't remember the setup at all. Yeah. But it's provocative enough that I would never trust an audience to not fuck everything up by reacting either positively with applause or booing or harumphing, and you just let it sit so patiently. Yeah. And then it makes your punchline so funny because all it is like the joke is like you tweet this thing and it's like a gun control thing. It's like just basically like, I don't think guns should be this or that or whatever.
What's the joke?
Yeah, let's hear this.
Well, if you don't feel
I can.
You gotta break that. You a professional.
No, I can do it. I'm good.
I mean, I know when people tell me to do my Sean Connery impression, I'm like, no, I can't do it because you asked.
Well, let's hear your Sean Connery impression.
Most things down here don't react well to bullets. Okay, all right, well, whatever. But it's like, if you work well under pressure.
No, I'll tell you the joke. Yeah. So we live in such a weird time because a lot of people have opinions, and have you seen those? Yeah, they're there. And especially about stuff like guns, for example, because a lot of people have opinions about that, and mostly everyone is wrong. And I, as a comedian, like every time a shooting happened or something, I have to go on social media and I have to like tweet something clever, to like raise awareness that I exist. And last time a shooting happened, I just went and I tweeted and I wrote that we shouldn't be sending thoughts and prayers, and we should be praying for more gun control. Which to me sounded like a very logical statement to post on the internet with the name Mohanad. And I believed in everything I said until that guy Kevin replied to me. You guys know Kevin? Yeah, from social media. Yeah, he's there too. And Kevin replied to me, this is what Kevin said, and I quote, "You fucking Muslim, I eat bacon 24/7," which is quite impressive. I was like, man, I don't eat bacon, but I think that's super unhealthy. Also, probably the worst argument against gun control. Just shouting your favorite food at me. Yeah, Kevin is dead now. Yeah.
It's that pause.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I focus on is the.
Thank you.
It's the pause where you describe your tweet, because I live in this cynical world where whatever I think of Portland, I don't even know. I was like, I'm watching from Los Angeles. I'm watching the YouTube clip of you in front of 100 people in Portland.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going through your head when you're willing to go, so I tweeted thoughts and prayers and a wall. I've become so jaded, so cynical that I'm like, I would never, ever, I can't let this rest happen because someone will fuck it up. Can you talk about that? Like, did you vet that silence?
I mean, no, I mean, like, the silence exists there for a reason, because, like, yes, like, some of the jokes I do, like, people would do that, like, someone would jump in or like woos or something, or just say something stupid and just ruin the whole thing. But I've done it like few times to see like that silence makes it like even better. And I think it's mostly because the way I say it, because I talk like very slowly and stuff, and like people, like, I give people the impression like there's something else coming out, so like people like on the edge to see like what's gonna come next, so no one want like interrupt the silence. And I think it's I think like the setup, if someone else says it, like it would be like more like yeah or
Right.
but like when I say that, like, I don't know where this is going, but I want to hear it.
I think that's got to be like, that's so Portland.
Yeah.
I'm assuming
Is
it's
there a
like,
place in the States that you can do comedy in Arabic?
No, I would never do comedy in Arabic. I don't know how
Have
to
you ever
do it
tried
in
it?
Arabic. Yeah, I can tell stories in Arabic, but like the structure of like a setup punchline is like such a like foreign concept to Arabic language that if you did it, like people like, why are you quiet? Like, why did you stop?
Why did you pause?
Yeah.
For real. Like, I never thought of that. So, is there any stand-up culture in Arabic? Like, in Arabic?
There is in some countries, yeah. Like if you go like countries like Lebanon, like if you go to Dubai, if you go to like, it's more getting like more recognized and stuff. But everything I've seen is like was like more storytelling, and I think it has to do with the Arabic language. It's like more like you have to keep going, like, and just like it has to be like long stories and like.
So you can't just do like set up punchline, like pauses, like
Exactly.
like traditional American style.
Exactly.
Stand up, set up punchline stuff.
Absolutely, because like this is a way that I've learned how to talk in English that way when I did it here, because like when I speak in Arabic, I never talk this way. Like I talk way faster, and like
when you speak Arabic.
When I speak Arabic, like even when I'm telling a funny story in Arabic, it's always like full of like energy and more like talking like way faster. While in English,
is
I'm
it
like,
politically incorrect to go like, let's just, even though we won't understand it, I just want to hear you tell a story really fast in Arabic, just so we can. Is that like a weird?
Is
like,
there a funny bar joke, like a straight up joke, like an Arabic classic, like a guy goes into a bar and the bartender says whatever, like.
Well, we don't have bars. Yeah,
it's already funny.
Yeah,
I know, like a proper, just straight up like.
I'm trying to think, because if it was like a story, I would like remember that I would just like say it out loud. But if you, I don't know, maybe you can give me a few sentences, I can say them in Arabic. That would be
Okay.
Give me a joke. Yeah.
Okay, so a guy goes into a doctor's office, and the doctor says, a guy goes,
we'll be an interpreter, and he'll be and pretend I'm Arabic, even though I can't understand it.
Yeah.
And translate his. Isn't that what you had to do?
Because I have to go the same speed as he.
You wanna-
does.
Okay, no.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so a guy is getting his annual physical, and the doctor looks at his chart and says, "Sir, I'm afraid you're going to have to stop masturbating." And the guy says, "Why?" And the doctor says, "Because I'm trying to give you a physical."
What is Ted Koppel saying to me? I don't understand.
So tell that joke in Arabic.
الراجل يمشي للدكتور يقول له معش شك اصلا الشك ما ينفعش انا بيجي لك لان في نيرو في عمليه تو نحن Oh,
See,
that's it.
Wait, no, but for real, wait, you were done.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it's very quick. Yeah.
That was
Yeah, so you said that joke and
is that a notable thing that like there wasn't like a big fucking
Yeah, you just like, go
This
fast
at the end?
and like people can just follow with you. Like,
is
yeah.
that an
Now,
Arabic
Mohanad-
culture thing that you would just
Mohanad,
like you would
do you know the difference between Dubai and Abu Dhabi?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, okay.
Oh, that's a joke. Okay. Yeah, there are two different cities.
let him tell you it's worth it.
Oh yeah, tell me the joke though.
People from I'm surprised you don't know this. People from Dubai do not like the Flintstones, but people from Abu Dhabi do.
Feels good.
Now tell that in Arabic.
Don't. Let me be the angel on your shoulder. I do want to ask though about because I'm fascinated with.
It's a fucking good joke. It's a good joke.
You know, don't be defiant about it. It might be or it might not be.
I hated that joke so much.
It's
Well, because you're clearly from Dubai.
it's arguably, polyglots. I'm always like they make me feel ashamed
He's
and
still
like,
laughing at my joke, by the way.
wonder about
He's
things like.
still the joke is still washing over him. He still loves it.
I always want to know this idea of like when do you think in one language and translate it to another in your head? You said something in the green room that
Yeah.
was like I think I've heard it before from other people that are bilingual. There, you said there was a transition, but tell me.
Yeah, no, for the first few years here, I would like I would speak in English, but I would like talk in Arabic, and I always had like that transition where I'm like when you tell me something, it just like goes into that fast process of like from like English to Arabic and then like Arabic to English. Now I'm at the point like where I even have my dreams in English. Like I would be like I'm fully gentrified now.
So it changes,
Yeah.
which I'd never.
That's the thing. Like when you learn a language, and they say when you start dreaming in the other language, that means your brain has like completely.
Absolutely, yeah. And now it's very strange because like when I talk to my parents, and obviously like we talk in Arabic, like sometimes like I find myself being like, what's that word? And they're like, who are you? I'm like, yeah.
Do they? What is that uncomfortable to talk about? Tell me stop at any time. But like, what is that relationship like? You are, after all, an astronaut that like came over. The Asylum thing happened. You haven't been back since, right?
Yeah, I haven't been back in 5 years. Yeah.
Emotionally, does that generate any conflict?
It's definitely hard. Like honestly, like and like I do miss them a lot and everything, and it's very hard on them too because it's just like because that's this because like in like Libyan culture and stuff like that, like you live as a family like together. Like you don't leave the house until like you get married. There's no like, oh, he's going to college, now you leave. Like everyone lives together like in a big house. So like there's always this family structure.
So were you kind of sorry to rewind to your childhood then? So were you a freak? Were they like what's up with Mohanad? He's like so weirdly verbal, or it like just in comparison to that, was there a departure in your childhood where was there a point where there was this conversation about well, you're gonna keep talking because you're a talker?
Yeah. It's I mean like my parents like would like their thing with me is like they would always be like, hey, do whatever you want, you can talk about whatever, but like can you like tone it down a bit? Yeah,
So resonant.
because they're like sometimes like my mom like would like I would be outside of the house and I post something on Facebook and she immediately calls me, I'm like, delete this right now.
Did
I'm
they
like,
speak English too, or just you?
What's that?
Does your family speak English as well?
My siblings do. None of my parents do. They like kind of understand it, but they've never like learned English. So like they made sure that me and my siblings like were like learning English since we were like super young. But them like they don't really speak it that well.
Are you allowed to go back home right now? Are you?
No, because that's part of the whole asylum process and getting the green card. I cannot go back until I become a citizen in a few years. Because your whole case is built on the fact that, oh, it's too dangerous for me to go back.
Right.
So if you go back, you're kind of like, oh, have you been lying this whole time on your asylum status? So you can't do that. Yeah. Even if it gets better, they're like, You have to
So
become a citizen.
all the people coming from Venezuela and Central America that are coming in and seeking asylum, the same thing for them too.
Absolutely,
but they
yeah.
don't have the resource for lawyers and
They do not. No, they do not. And obviously, like the immigration, like they were like, yeah, we'll give you a lawyer, and that lawyer is like handling 100 case. So there's so many like, and like even with the lawyer, even with everything, like the process is very vague.
Yeah.
Because like they're like, because when I applied, they're like, okay, so when do I do my interview? And they were like, few months, a year, 2 years, and then it was 4. So there was like no, like you're just like living in a limbo. Like, okay, do I start my life? Do I? And they're like, well, you just have to wait. I don't know.
So how close are you to the finish line of this, where you actually get citizenship?
Well, I find like I finished like I did. The biggest step was getting your asylum approved, which I did in last October, which was great because it was such a relief. Because I was like, I'm like doing comedy and doing all of that, but not knowing if I'm like, because if they decline it, it was just like it's like. Okay, well, you either have to pay more money and hire a lawyer again and do all of that, or you're welcome to leave. So there was that. So when it got approved, I was like, okay, this is good.
So you're good to go now.
Well, now, yeah, in next October, I get my green card, which is great, so I can come and go out, like and travel and like do all of that. And then in 3 years from now, I do become a citizen.
But to make no mistake about it, and sorry if this is like
Yeah.
insensitive or whatever, but this is just me going like, I'm putting myself in these shoes, and I'm going like, so there are points in your life, and I don't know how long they are, and I don't know how extreme the walls of it are, but like you have to legitimately fear the idea that you're going to get a letter, whether it's pink stationery or a knock on the door, or it's some bureaucratic thing that's going to go, now it didn't work. You're going back, and you're going to be like on an airplane, and you're on the airplane, and not only are you miserable because all airline travel is garbage, even if you're first class.
True.
All right, these people hate me, and they love flaunting it with their sarcastic applause. But you're like legitimately like, because you have to atone.
Yeah.
With a death in your head that someone would go, that you would be sent back, and then you would get to an airport, which everyone that's traveled knows you're not in control of your life because that's their airports.
Absolutely.
You can't just like jump off a plane like Arnold Schwarzenegger and be like, I'm gonna run through the swamp. And like there's no, you come through a gate, it's all controlled, and anyone that wants to, once you're in that country. So how, please, like I unless you're uncomfortable talking about it,
okay,
like how high was that fear, or is that fear of like of going back to a place where people will put a black bag over your head, or am I being ignorant, or like
that's sadly was the case too. Yeah, like if I go back, I'll probably
how
get
long
killed.
did you live in fear of that happening, and how much do you currently fear that happening?
Now, not as much. Now, and not because like I have my asylum approved and stuff, so it's like illegal to even like be like, oh, you get deported unless you could like commit like a criminal, like something like huge, like criminal offense or something. Then you're safe. But like, yeah, even like the past few years, there was a fear, like I would say from 2014 to 2016. So there was always, you know where I'm going.
Weird dates, random dates. I don't know why.
You know where I'm going with that. And it was like 2006, and then until 2000, like, okay, I'm still like good. And then there was a change in the office. Yeah. And then it became like, it went like from 40 to 100.
But I'm sure that's a figment of your imagination, because I'm absolutely positive that you have no real world evidence that anything actually changed from day to day.
That's
After
very
all,
true.
you were already in America for all those years, and then that election happened, and you're a smart guy, and you're walking around with your papers, and you're super funny, and you're Portland's finest, and you're just strutting your thing, and you got your asylum. And nothing can happen to you.
That's my
right?
show. Good night, everybody.
Happy ending. Yeah.